you're not kind of the more run-of-the-mill influencer where it's like
you're a niche within a niche.
You're a niche of golf with a niche of comedy. What's kind of your angle on the golf scene right now?
Well, we need to shrink the game. People like me are ruining it. That's I get that comment all the time.
What's up, guys? We're back here at another episode of the Wedgies podcast. We got a super special guest today. A good friend, recent friend, and comedy legend already at 24 years old. We got James Lynch on the pod. James, it's great to have you, man.
Hello. One hell of an intro, man. I need to be humbled.
There we go.
You should have said the worst.
James, what have you been up to, man? How's life been the last couple weeks for you?
Really good, really hectic and strange, you know? It's like a weird sort of new lifestyle I'm living, doing golf comedy full time, which is cool. But it's been great, you know, just playing a lot of golf and recording some videos.
What was it like being at the PGA show? That was your first year being out there, right?
Yes, that was awesome. I was very overwhelmed. I felt like I had to do as much networking as I possibly could. I just didn't really, you know? Like the first day I was at the Sunday Swagger booth, and it was really cool to meet some people who know me and stuff like that, but I felt like a pressure that I was like, I need to meet Titleist. I need to meet Mizuno and sign these deals. But I got to
dishing out business cards left and right.
Yeah, exactly. But I did a little bit of that Friday. It was really cool. Friday, I met with Mizuno. That was really nice.
Mm-hmm. Cool. And to give kind of the audience a little context, so we met James. Well, actually, we met on Instagram. Here we are. So
showed us your crazy stinger skills.
Yeah, stinger skills
we did a stinger
impeccable.
Challenge. I went 0 for 5 in the stinger challenge.
I mean, I wasn't going to bring it up, but I'm glad you did.
That was bad.
It
wasn't even that far away. It was like 40 yards, just hitting this ginormous target, and I couldn't do it. And then Caden, I think, he went 4 for 5, and DOD went 4 for 5 too.
Yeah. And
we won, but
I
contributed nothing.
Yeah, he outdid me with the old DOD, which is his specialty.
Yeah,
so
definitely, man. Well, dude, I'd love to kind of get into your background. You know, obviously, it's really interesting with Instagram. You know, there's an opportunity with Instagram, TikTok, and social media these days for like a lot of people to take off pretty rapidly, and that kind of feels like it was like on Tuesday, I'd never heard of James Lynch. On Thursday, it was all I was seeing. So I'm sure there's a lot more work that goes into that than just what I saw on the outside. So kind of walk me through your background a little bit, you know, like early days, getting into comedy, getting into content. What did that look like?
Yeah, sure. So I would say it really started my freshman year of college. I met with my best friends who we all moved out here to LA together. But we formed a comedy troupe in college called The Undergrads, and we did sketch and improv shows throughout our campus and then just recorded videos. And we went pretty viral on TikTok a few times, which was really cool. So I say it started with that, and then we moved out here to LA to continue doing shows and stuff. And then I remember I posted like one TikTok about like playing golf on the golf course, and it was guys are either good at sex or good at golf, and that went super viral.
Yeah.
And then I just had like this huge like realization. I was like, oh my God, there's this ginormous avenue that I could go down and just do golf comedy. So I started a new page and reposted all my old ones that I did on the golf course, and then continued to do new ones. And it just like blew up within a span of like 2 months. I was like, oh my God, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So I've been doing like I've been doing like comedy for probably like 5 or 6 years, but like the golf side comedy was probably almost coming up on a full year.
That's insane. And you've just skyrocketed in the industry, which is awesome to see. Let's talk a little bit about your golf background, because obviously you're a pretty, I mean, I've only seen you in the challenge, right, and on socials, but you're a pretty dang good golfer, man. How did that start? What's the start of your golf journey?
Funny. I started playing golf because I got too fat to play baseball. My freshman, I was, in my eyes, a stud baseball player. All my friends, they wouldn't say that, actually. They wouldn't say that at all. But I thought I was pretty good. And then everyone hit puberty, and I didn't. You know, everyone got to high school and became adults, and I looked like I stayed in middle school. So,
Oh,
we're
I
on
know
the
that
big
feeling.
field, and I can't throw far. I can't hit far. I was our first base coach, which I thought was like, oh, yeah, the coach believes in me. But that was just another way of saying, like, we got to give this kid something to do other than just being on the bench the entire season. So I was like, you know what, screw this. I'm done with baseball. I quit my freshman year, and then I was like, we could play golf. So I went on to the golf team my sophomore year and played free golf all the time. It was awesome. Played all these nice courses. And just got pretty good. Junior year, I got on varsity junior year. And senior year, same thing, varsity. It was just so much fun. Way more fun. Way less pressure, too.
Yeah.
Like, I was like,
Oh,
just
yeah.
playing golf for fun. Like, I wasn't amazing, but it was just fun
Yeah.
playing against other towns and stuff.
So where are you from originally, though?
I am from New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right on. I don't know. I mean, when you were growing up, going through high school, was golf kind of like the loser sport?
Oh, yeah.
Was it the same?
Holy crap.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, we
So
would
that's
be
a pretty,
outside waiting. What's that?
No, I was just going to say that's a pretty consistent theme, I think,
Yeah.
throughout our younger generation.
Yep.
And now it's like, cool. Like, everyone
Yeah,
wants to play golf. Like, every one of my
100%.
friends that used to make fun of me for playing golf is obsessed with golf right now. And it's cool because
Yep.
I have, like, the upper hand on them. I smoke them every single time.
I played a few other sports growing up, and luckily our dad got us into golf really early, and so that was always kind of like a side hobby. And then, once high school came around, it was like on the golf team, and it was always just like the sport that nobody wanted to play because it meant that you couldn't make any of the other teams. And then, years later, you're like the best in your friend group, and it's awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, it kind of seems like a lot of guys fall into golf, whether it's in high school, it's later in life. Now I think with golf picking up popularity, there's a lot more people that are like, oh, this is a first option for a lot more people, or parents are pushing their kids to get involved with golf earlier. Obviously, you've, I think, benefited a little bit from your career of having golf have this massive swing across social media and stuff like that. I mean, even in your time from having played to now, I mean, what's kind of your view on the golf landscape right now? Because I feel like you're in a unique position. You know, you're not like a tour pro. You're not you're not kind of the more run-of-the-mill influencer where it's like
You're a niche within a
you're
niche.
a niche of golf with a niche of comedy. What's kind of your angle on the golf scene right now?
Well, we need to shrink the game. People like me are ruining it. That's I get that comment all the time. I love it. I think it's great. Like, I feel like what we just said, in high school, this game was nothing. Like, you were a loser if you played it. Now everyone is playing it. It's cool. But I know, like, a lot of people who are really good at golf and people comment on my stuff where I'm like, you're ruining the game. Like, shrink the game. I'm like, dude, let's just play golf. Like, relax. You know? Like, if we can get this game as popular as we can, that'd be sick. Like, that's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
It's
great for everybody.
Well, I'm sure you've probably got kind of the wide range of the spectrum here, because you've got guys like us that are like more James Lynch, but you've also got the old heads that are probably fighting against it. Have you seen kind of a polarizing response to your comedy?
Absolutely. It's usually the older country club guys that are pretty not happy with my content, and then kids like my age or maybe a little younger who love it, which is cool because I'll grow old with them, and then the people who don't like it are probably gonna die in a few years.
Do you ever get into the weeds with people in the comments section? Are you ever going back and forth?
If I do, not really, honestly, but if I do, it's just gonna be something super sarcastic. This was bad, actually. I didn't know. Do you guys know the Bryan Bros? I don't know if you'll put this in the podcast.
Yeah.
Did take like a huge chunk out of the green, or not the green, like the fringe in front of the green. I did not mean to. I was like, damn it. But I was like, I'm going to post this anyway because people will comment about it. And they commented on it saying something like, yeah, let's take a bigger divot out of the green next time, like sarcastically. And I was like, I didn't know who they were at the time, so I like commented back at them. I was like, hey, guys, we should collab. I feel like you really would love my style of golf.
That's
and then I said, hit me up in the DMs, Byron Bros. And I just like butchered their name. And then like I see them like winning on tour, and I was like, these are those guys. And I was like, oh
You're
my
like,
God,
shoot.
I'm such an idiot. So I was like, I respect them. I 100%. And they were right. I totally should not have taken that big of a divot out of the green. But
Dude,
I did.
that's
So
hilarious.
sorry about that.
Well, I think that's kind of an interesting question as well. Is obviously, you've got this more slapstick humor. You're kind of more off the wall, having a lot of fun with the game of golf. But I'm sure you end up at a lot of these like, these parties or these the PGA show style events where you're with a lot more of the traditional golf audience. I mean, what's kind of those interactions like? Is it pretty like, again, receptive, or is it kind of like, do you feel like you? I mean, I guess I'm kind of putting a little bit of ourselves into this as well, because I know for us, like, we're the content guys. So when we show up to like a Titleist booth at the PGA show, I don't feel like I belong there. I feel like I'm like in a weird spot with all these tour pros. Do you feel any of that, or for you is it more just like, nah, man, I'm loving where I'm at and I'm gonna enjoy it?
I love where I'm at, but I do feel that. Like, I do feel really out of place at these events, because these are like, professional golfers, traditional golfers, if you will. And I am posting heinous videos on the internet. But it's been pretty receptive. Like, they like it. Like, a lot of people have come up to me and said, oh, I love your content. You're very funny. I love what you're doing with the game. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, I feel like a person like you would hate me, but cool.
Yeah.
It seems like they actually do like me. I also overthink everything. Like, it's insane. I feel like at the PGA show, I was walking around, I was like, everyone here probably hates me, but I didn't get any bad remarks at all. Like, I got way more positive feedback.
I'm
than
sure
I
you got
thought,
people coming up asking for pictures and things like that, right?
Yeah, and that was
Dude,
cool
that's
too. I was
awesome.
like, damn, this is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I remember us talking about that at the show because we're good friends with Martin Borgmeyer as well, and it was the funniest thing. So I'm walking next to Martin, we're just chatting as we're going down the kind of little hallway thing, and this like grown man, probably like 35, he was like 6'4", just huge, jacked, comes up with his phone and is like, Martin, can I get a picture? And I'm like, that doesn't usually happen.
You're a full-blown adult.
Yeah.
And this
Yeah.
guy makes videos on Instagram, and you want to meet him. Like, that's it's really cool that like social media has given that platform for guys like yourself to like grow an audience and to like find your people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is cool.
But dude, I want to know, like, take us behind the scenes of a James Lynch production. Like, what does your day-to-day look like? And then when you're out there shooting content, what's the vibe?
Yeah, it's a mix of both really heavily scripted, like thought out ideas that I would kind of just write down in a notebook and do a few takes of it on the golf course, and a mix of just improvising, like on the golf course. I do something with my friends and then they all laugh. I'm like, all right, that got a laugh here. Let's record that, and then we'll film it, But a lot of it is sitting down. I'll like think of like a situation. I'm like, what's fun? Like, what's a common thing that people would ask on a range where it's like, hey, what are you working on? And then you're like, what answer could I give that they are not going to expect, So I was like,
yeah.
what are you working on? I was like, well, what am I working on in life? And then I was like, opening up to my significant other about things that bother me about her, instead of letting it pent up inside me. And it's just like, like almost like a therapy session where I was like, what are you working on? I was like, I'm working on my relationship with these women. And it's like, no, not that. Like, what are you working on in your golf game? That was probably a terrible explanation. But as for like the improv on the golf course, it's really just like I golf with my roommates here, and we just have fun on the golf course, and we're all just trying to make each other laugh. And once we get a laugh, we'll record that. Like, we were doing like a sand bunker shot, and I got out of the trap really nicely. It's like, oh man, like, good shot. It's like, yeah, if only it was easy getting out of the trap I'm in with my wife, you know what I mean? And that just got a laugh. I was like, all right, let's ramble on that and let's see what else we could come up with, and then we just film it.
Dude, I love that. Yeah, it's cool that you have very structured stuff, right? Like a comedy show would be. And then you also have just kind of off the cuff, like hanging with the buddies, seeing what makes them laugh. And if that makes them laugh, it could make a greater audience laugh. I think that approach is really cool because it gives you that authenticity as well, that not everything you do is completely staged.
Yeah.
Well, and I guess another part of what I really appreciate about your humor as well, and I think what makes it really successful is a lot of people, you have the balance between actual golf knowledge, having played the game, played in, high school tournaments, knowing that, and the improv comedy troupe side. When you're coming up with these videos, what's kind of, do you give thought between like, okay, you kind of mentioned it there in your explanation where it's like, okay, take the truth and then find kind of something to branch off of there. Does it usually root in a golf truth, or kind of where does it start?
Like kind of. It's like I don't want to do it too much where I would only make a video that only golfers would understand, because then it might not do as well because other people who don't understand golf aren't in on the joke. But it's also a mix where I've had videos where I nail like something super golf specific that only golfers would relate to, and that's gone viral. So I was like, okay, I found like a definite golf audience. And then I've done videos that it doesn't really have anything to do with golf at all. It just happens that I'm on a golf course that like, an other audience like who doesn't play golf would watch. So it's a mix of both, and I'm trying to like tap in more of a non-golf related audience. It kind of just
leads me to kind of my next question is I want to know what James Lynch does when he's not on the course and when he's not writing, bits for stand-up and things like that. Like what do you do when you're not doing those things?
That's a good question. It's really...
This is it. That's all it is. It's bits and it's bits.
It is. If you lived with me and my roommates, you would see how crazy it is. Nothing is real in our house. We just do bits constantly. It's insane. Like from the moment we wake up, we're just improving until we go to bed, and we're like, wow, that day we didn't have a real conversation at all.
Dude, I'm gonna book a ticket and come stay with you guys for a week.
It's fun. But when I'm not doing like golf or comedy or stuff like that, guitar, I'm trying to learn the guitar, trying to get creative in that space.
Oh, awesome.
So that's really
All
fun.
right.
But
I play the guitar as well, so I like that.
It's fun, yeah.
We'll have to jam.
I suck at it. It's hard, but it's so fun. Yeah. Or going out with friends, hanging out, doing a little bit of drinking, maybe too much drinking sometimes. But outside of that, awesome, I guess at night I do a lot of improv shows and stuff, stand-up shows, sketch shows.
I've always been really curious about that because my brother and I, we really like stand-up, we really like comedy. And so I kind of have two questions about that. First question is, what's scarier in your opinion, standing up to do an improv show in front of, a couple hundred people, or teeing off at the first hole with an audience around you?
Ooh, 100% the improv, I think. I think teeing off with 100 people would somehow less be scary, especially for me because like I could suck at golf and people will just laugh at it. So I'm like, there's no pressure there. But for the
that's
improv,
a good
like,
fail safe, dude. That's a good safety net. I need to be a funnier person so I can suck at golf more.
Yeah. Whereas like improv, like people are expecting me to be funny. So if I'm not funny, then it's weird. And I've had shows like that where it's just everything's bombing. I'm like, oh my God, this is brutal.
That is literally like my worst fear. Like I could go hit shots in front all day long. I probably wouldn't be very good, but I could do it.
Yeah.
But like thinking about going up improv in front of a bunch of people and being the funny guy or the center of attention is like crippling to me.
Yeah, it's terrifying. It's horrifying. It's really bad. Bad improv is bad, but also bad stand-up I think is way worse because it's just you up there by yourself in front of a crowd. So it's like it's the most intimate and vulnerable you could be as a person. And if you're not being funny, it's like the audience feels it, you feel it, and it's just so weird. And I've had shows. Do
you think we'll ever see a James Lynch stand-up special?
Stand-up special? I'll be honest with you, probably not. There are so many good comics here in LA, and I don't love it as much as I do love sketch and improv. I feel like you would see sketch and improv special or me on a show before you'd see stand-up special.
Stand-up.
Yeah, which was my other question. You talk about other great comedians in LA. Who are some of your comedy icons?
Comedy icons. For characters, I love Will Ferrell. It's always been... Since a kid, I'm like, dude, this guy is so funny. He could do anything, and it's funny. Comedy, stand-up, I love Mark Normand. I think he's a very quick-witted comic. Shane Gillis, obviously, but that's every white dude's answer ever.
Kind of another question that I had for you is, were you always the funny guy growing up? Like, was that who you were? Were you the class clown as a kid?
Yeah, pretty much. I had a pretty funny friend group, though. Like, we were in a pretty good funny friend group, and we were always in every class together, so it's like, it was cool to have just bouncing back and forth on each other. But yeah, I would say that I was always just looking for attention. Like, anything I could do, like, I need the eyes on me. I would do it.
No, it certainly helps when your friend group, gives you that sense of confidence too, because they're over there doing stupid stuff just like you. So that's funny. Are those friends you live with now the same guys you went to high school with?
No, the friends I live with now, we met in college, and then the high school friends, I'm still best friends with them today, but they live back in Jersey. But it's cool to always just go back and fuck around with them. Like, hell yeah, I miss you guys.
Yeah. So if you could bring any comedian that you idolize or that you like currently into a golf skit, who would it be?
Ooh, okay. I would probably say, and he's not so much a comedian, but an actor, because I get so many comments that I look and sound like Jason Bateman. So I think doing a video.
And he's a golfer.
I know.
That is spot on. I actually never thought of that.
Good.
That's like a life goal of mine, is to just play around and film it with Jason Bateman, because I think that'd be so fun. There's so many ideas I could do with him.
We got to start that campaign right now.
I know.
Jason Bateman, James Lynch collab.
The James Lynch Ozark episode, I'm all in.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I know. I got to play his son in a movie or something.
His twin son.
Yeah.
Oh, that is so good.
So talk to us kind of about what you got on the horizon. We were chatting a little bit before this call about what you're up to in the next couple weeks or couple months. So you just signed with Sunday Swagger, right?
Yes, I signed with Sunday Swagger.
Talk to us about
best
that.
Polos in the game. Yeah, great.
Nice.
It's cool. I love them. The team is awesome. Their polos are insane. Like, they're so loud, which is perfect because I feel like I'm a loud person. So it's like whenever I'm wearing the golf polos, it's like it goes hand in hand, And they're sick.
Yeah.
They're so comfortable. So I signed with them, which is great. I met with the team. They took me out to the PGA show. Great people, super funny. I was a bit worried at first, where I was like, damn, I'm signing with a company. I feel like they're going to be my boss and stop me from doing content if it's too inappropriate, or like they might have to, restrict me, I guess, on a few ideas.
Yeah.
But it's not the case at all. They're like, go full throttle. I'm like, hell yeah. And then I would send him some videos like, hey, is this okay? He's like, let it rip. I'm like, all right, cool. So it's like, it's the perfect company for me to be working with, because I could do anything. I still have my creative freedom.
Yeah.
And their polos are so loud. I love them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that's the key to any great partnership, especially with influencers, right? Like you're hiring them or signing them on for their likeness and what they do. And so you got to let them have that free range to do that. And so that sounds like they're giving you that leash.
100%. Because there was a brand that I was going to not sign with, but I was going to do a few like campaigns with them. I won't name them, but they were like not about my content, which is weird because I'm like, why would you reach out to me in the first place?
Yeah.
But they were like, we want to do this, but you can't do that, that, and that. So like, I just came up with probably some of the dumbest ideas in the world that I was like, these are so bad. I was like on the fence about even posting them, and then Sunday Swagger reached out, and then I was like, fuck it. I talked to my manager. I'm like, we're not doing this campaign. Like, I don't want to do it with them. I got Sunday Swagger now, which is a way better deal. So I'm so happy to be with them.
Yeah, they're awesome guys.
Yeah.
And then the other thing we were talking about is your golf comedy series.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Me and my roommates.
Explain that. What can we expect? Yeah.
Yeah, I keep name dropping my roommates. But
dude, they're gonna get big heads after this.
I know. We are currently in the midst of writing a golf comedy series, and we are hopefully going to pitch it to a few TV networks. We finished the pilot last night, which is really exciting.
No kidding.
But we have to go back and do like a sweep through of dialogue and stuff, make it a bit better. But I'm very happy with how it came out. I think it's hilarious. There are some scenarios in it that you might have seen already on my TikTok. For example, nice tits might make an appearance in there. But it's so fun because we're trying to make it like an Almost Sunny in Philadelphia type
Oh,
style.
wow.
yeah.
Doesn't have to like each episode has to do with another, but there are relationships that will continue on throughout it.
Nice.
So we're gonna self-produce the pilot no matter what, and I think post it to my YouTube. In the meantime, while we pitch to TV networks, and if no one picks it up, we're gonna make the whole thing regardless and just post it on my YouTube. So
That'd be awesome.
very excited.
Dude,
it's a cool thing.
We're really excited to see that.
Yeah, I think it's a very cool mix of what I love doing and what's working for me right now, because I love doing the golf comedy series right now, but like I also love acting and doing other stuff like that and writing. So it's a cool mix of just making a golf comedy series where I get to act and write out long scripted TV episodes.
Dude, that's so cool.
Is that is that long term kind of where you see the career going?
Yes, absolutely. I see myself in 10 years being like a comedic actor, maybe in TV or movies, and hopefully SNL. Who knows? Who knows how we'll get there? There's so many different ways to do it now,
get there.
which is crazy because like this golf, I never in a million years did I expect to be where I am right now doing the golf stuff, but I'm going to utilize this to keep doing videos and working towards where I want to be long term.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, aside from those things, is there anything else that you got on the horizon that you're looking forward to?
A few tournaments, I guess, hopefully. I want to go to the waste management. Dude, I want to. I have... It's literally next week, and it's still up in the air. I'm like 80% going, but I'm supposed to go with someone and stay with someone else, and I don't know what day I got a ticket to, and I also have a show next Wednesday, which is the day that I would typically want to go because it starts Thursday. So I'm like, damn it, I might have to just leave Thursday morning early. I don't know if I'm flying. I don't know if I'm driving there. I don't know anything. Hopefully I get there because I do want to do content there. And it's just another great way to network and meet people.
Oh, dude, that's your crowd there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
We'll be there for
Exactly.
sure.
Yeah.
I feel like if I showed up there, that's where I'd meet my audience. The 16th hole, just a bunch of
Dude,
drinking
the 16th
people.
green, that 16th hole would clear out, and that would be your stand-up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right
The new dream is let's do a James Lynch improv show on the 16th green, and then instead of cheering, we're all throwing beer cans at you.
That would be sick. I would love that.
Dude, there are too many things that we got to get cooking on.
Oh, man.
I know.
That is so cool.
We got to make it happen.
Awesome. Have you been to the Waste Management before?
Never.
Oh,
but I want to go so bad.
You're in for a treat if you go, man. It is.
Yeah.
Have you been to any PGA event?
Yeah, I've been to a few. I've been to the President's Cup and the Northern Trust, stuff like that.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, it is a different.
That's a different.
Oh,
I
know. See the Waste Management. That's up my alley. I feel like I'm gonna meet my crowd there for sure.
That's sweet, dude. Well, we hope to see you out there.
Yeah.
If there's anything we can do to get you out there, let us know.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, we appreciate you coming on the pod, and we'll be looking very closely. Yeah, dude. You got the golf comedy series coming out. You got Sunday Swagger. We'll be watching you, and then obviously on your channels. Let the audience know where they can find you.
Yeah, on Instagram you could find me at Not James Lynch. On YouTube it's James Golfs, and TikTok James Golfs.
All right.
I think.
There you go.
You'll find me.
Nice. We'll tag them all.
You'll know once you found it. You'll know.
But dude, we'd love to have you back on the pod in the near future, and we can't wait to see what you do. So appreciate you coming out.
I'd love to come back on. Thank you guys for doing this.